money forever. I mean, we're talking like decades now. So this is not something completely alien and new, and that's again where Tom is right. So yeah, this is a lot of independent filmmakers that I know, in particular, hey, how did you fund that movie that you did? Da, 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 da. Saudi Arabia, money from there, money from Colombia. Oh, money from Colombia. But you get what I'm saying. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
I think you're right.
We're not going to get the old Hollywood back.
No, well, for Paramount,
okay.
For Paramount's part, only Variety's reporting that it's Saudi money. Of course, Paramount may not want people to know, but they were denying this back a couple of weeks ago.
They were, yeah, and you posted a link to that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the big news of the day. The big news is that where they previously denied that there was a Saudi component to the bid, they now admit, yeah, okay, fine, there's a Saudi component to the
right.
bid. That's a big news, but this is kind of like goes along with what we were saying the whole time. And again, it's not an exclusively Saudi bid. Right. It's that the Saudis have partnered up with Ellison, but what I don't remember exactly how much there is, but it is below the level where you have to report it, and it becomes an issue because now you have a foreign company that's gets majority ownership in an American company. So it's below that level. It's below that, which is very strategic, obviously. So it is the level where they would have some influence, and more importantly, where they would be entitled to dividends and a share of the profit, which is the real motivation. But it's not enough that the Ellisons wouldn't ultimately be in charge.
They had a show that Saudi produced for their own country back around Ramadan last year, where there's a lot of people watching television, apparently, called Muayya. I mean, I know I just butchered that, but Business Insider and others were reporting that the Saudi Hollywood dreams were over. And I can't help but think that when there's reporting like that, that only emboldens whoever had their sights set on Hollywood. I dropped that in the chat too. So
what would they never say never?
Yeah, well, I think again, I really think it might, Tom, you've got a point about, oil eventually running out, fossil fuels, yada, yada, yada. I have a different take, but there may be a lot of truth to that. But I do think that sometimes people just get that Tinseltown silver screen idea. That's how we can make money. We need to get into Hollywood or whatever. And what better time to do it now that it might be an opportunity here. And we're sitting on money, right?
Well, internationally, I mean, and that's true too, to a point. Like internationally, film is bigger than it is in domestically, right?
Yeah.
Like this is kind of part of the conversation that we've kind of been leaning into for the last year with Superman, right? Because I'm so tired of everybody going, oh, it was a flop. It's like, how is it a flop? I would love to have a movie in Hollywood that made that much money on the state side, and yet everybody considers it a flop, but yet F1 is this huge hit, right? F1 didn't even make $200 million in the United States. Technically, it didn't even make the money back that Warner Brothers paid for it. But yet everybody says it's a big hit. Why is it a hit? Because of how much money it made outside the U.S. And it made such a huge amount outside the U.S. that, yeah, Warner Brothers probably did see a nice profit on it. But the same thing could be said for Superman. But outside the U.S., like that's, to kind of lean into what we're going to hear from Paulie here in a little bit about what he thought of Avatar. Avatar ain't going to do that much in the U.S. I wouldn't be surprised if whatchamacallit, even though the only thing that's gonna keep Avatar from probably beating the furry movie, Zootopia,
yeah,
is that it comes out in like 2 weeks from now, and not this week.
Right.
Because if it came out this week, I bet you Zootopia beats it in the U.S.
Yeah.
But Avatar would win outside the U.S., but inside the U.S., I bet you Avatar would get.
I think the bigger story. I think the bigger story is that we have to be careful not to be so North American or American centric. Is that there's an awful lot of movies being made in Iran, Iraq, places that we would not normally think of as being centers of films, and India will.
It's just because they don't have the influence that American film does. That's
Correct.
why.
They have a local
movies-
market. But
And
yeah,
the
obviously.
movies that have been coming out, and people have been praising, they're going, wow, these things are fantastic. Israel has not stopped making movies, but no one's seeing them. So there's Korea's making movies for the internal market. There's a giant global renaissance of film that we're not seeing.
Yeah. But this particular thing, though, I think is more about much more about getting dividends than it is the art of cinema.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I just think entertainment is a weird thing to invest in if you want a return.
Yes
This
and
is
no.
true, but to be fair, though, they are diversifying, and this is just a tiny little thing because they're investing $1 trillion into the U.S. economy, and of that $1 trillion, maybe a couple of billion goes into Hollywood in total.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and if you're trying to make some money investing in Oracle stocks, is a wise thing because it's one of the things driving AI. As AI eviscerates middle management all over the world, that we're living in very interesting times.
And
We are not offering financial advice, though.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
that we are not.
Although precious metals are doing very well.
Yes, if you bought them 15 years ago.
And I did. Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, well, good timing.
Metals, yes. My precious.
I just find it interesting that Variety also, this is anonymously sourced. Their article is people familiar with the matter. But I get the feeling that Paramount's going to be relentless, and eventually they're going to hit that number that Zaslav and the shareholders say, okay.
Oh, it's just a matter of time. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a done deal, but it's just a matter of time until Warner is on Paramount hands.
And then we're back to the monopolies again, right?
Unfortunately, yes. No one is saying that this is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Only that this is the way it's going, and that's how it is. And also, before we move on here, also a couple of super chats on this. Joe Pat says, "May Warner Brother remain its own studio and not part of NBCU?" Yeah, that's one of the things, but most likely it's going to be part of either NBC or Paramount.
Which is CBS.
Or rather, it's going to be under Skydance. So then it would be that Skydance would own both Warner and Paramount, the same way that National Amusements owns both CBS and Paramount. It's going to be similar to that, is what I'm thinking. Let's see if there's any more topics on this particular thing. Hyper-Guyver, yeah, he says, I won't even read that out loud because that's going to be used against me. But yeah, he has thoughts. He has thoughts on
Please,
Saudi Arabia.
please read it. Please read it.
You do
Andre.
it. You do it.
No, you have the accent already. No. We're afraid to do it. Durka, Muhammad Jihad, the Super Durka.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was a great Swedish chef right there, and thank you, Hyper-Guyver.
That's not what he's doing. That's not Swedish Chef.
No, that's
It's the
Team
Saudis
America.
from fucking Team
Team
America.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I was like, you got to do it, Andre.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, how does Andre sound Saudi?
No, he's got his accent. That's what makes it so.
Oh,
funny.
an accent. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, I just said,
And-
yeah. And then moving on from here, Dark King says Disney's next animated feature after the Saudi takeover, Alibaba and the 72 Virgins. The thieves were removed due to woke protests. You know, there's a good amount of more stories that they could take that Disney could use in Arabian Nights. I mean, Aladdin was a huge hit. There's a lot of, yeah. you
Well, they
have, like,
destroyed that Thief and the Cobbler movie, but like, yeah, like here's the
Okay,
thing though.
the others.
They wouldn't be called that. They'd be, yeah, never mind. I fucked up the joke. Never mind.
Yeah.
Move on. What do we got next?
And Smiles Frown says for $5. I think it's like this with the Saudis: buy when it's low, sell when it's high. They see an opening. Yeah, that's
Andre's
sort
point.
of what I'm thinking as well here. And with that, before we move on with other topics, we have a little more to discuss. But I don't know exactly how long we have Polly here today. But Polly, you saw a movie yesterday, a Disney movie, a big Disney movie. I don't know how much you are allowed to share, but how was the new Avatar, Fire and Ash? Is that the title?
Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you know, it's no spoilers that it's long.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it needed to be long?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Absolutely not. So let me full disclosure, guys. I was Rosa Parra's +1 guest. It was a press screening, so we didn't have to pay for it. We did get your popcorn and a drink for free. I always say that with hey, this is what situation, or I paid full price. So that being said, there were no trailers. So once it started, it was just the movie. I did see it.
Polly, hang on. I thought that the Spielberg movie trailer was supposed to be attached. I guess that's for the wide release, not for
Yeah, this is just a press screening kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's so for lack of better words, it's a private screening.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. It was in Dolby, Tom, 3D. So that's kind of the setup, and we did see it it started around 6:45 p.m. It was supposed to start at 6:30, but they're just trying to get all the full house there. Listen, I'm an Avatar fan, and besides the obvious in regards to just what a cinematic experience it is, it just kind of just went over the same redundant notes of Way of Water, and anything new was kind of sidelined where it should have been kind of forefront, like the new villain, the female leader. She's like a witch, Fire and Ash of the tribe, and it's a new tribe, and that was probably the most interesting thing. But man, yeah. So those are my first impressions there, guys. If you guys have any questions?
You need to get a green screen faking in front of being at the theater and just like yell at us. This is my out of theater impression.
Why? I already put that up, Cheeto.
No, I saw that. I watched it. Your out of theater impressions are the best.
No green screen needed.
And people were like, "Oh, you're just not a fan."
No,
why are people complaining about runtime? Because it's our time, and usually I'm even more, I'll be more upset, like the way I was for One Battle After Another, because I paid full price, and it's like 3 hours of of whatever. I gave that a nice thorough washing that out of the theater for One Battle After Another. But yeah, I think people were asking in the chat, do I think that runtime will ruin it? And I can't answer, because it's like, maybe.
That sounds like a yes to me.
Yeah, how long is it, Paulie?
Oh, I think it was 3 hours, man.
Good gosh, mind numbing.
Someone said 2 hours 45 minutes.
Do you think it will have any cultural
3 hours.
impact whatsoever, Paulie?
Of course. I mean,
Okay.
I'm an Avatar fan. There's a lot of us.
Okay.
I mean, but I understand, like, people are like, oh, there's no cultural, people forget about it.
Well,
3
this is, I
hours,
think, something where we got to remind ourselves that America is not the world. And this is what I was kind of trying to say is, in America, it doesn't seem like Avatar's had much cultural impact, but I'm not going to speak for the rest of the world. When the last two movies have made over $1 billion, and the first one was one of the biggest movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the movie's made $700-800 million outside the U.S. That's a lot of money. So
I think it's all about the spectacle. I'm sure it looks absolutely beautiful.
It is on that, in those regards, it is. I've never seen anything like these films.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Well,
was about to say, like, ignore everything else.
Yeah.
Like, ignore how, if it was too long, or how was it as a visual spectacle compared to the movies before it? How would you rate it compared to Avatar 1 and Avatar 2? Did the fire add a brand new element that was worth watching, like the second one brought water?
absolutely, man.
Mm.
Oh God, it is. It is just. I was speechless in some parts, which
Wow.
kind of just made me upset because it was just a lot of fodder.
Mm.
And it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. It's not 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So, I just think everyone doesn't need their own side story. They need to get Chato in there and
Clean
cut
it
up
up.
the script, man. But
Or make it a
That's-
miniseries.
yeah, but that being said, man, I want to go see it again.
Wow.
Because it's so amazing to watch, and the
Yeah, yeah.
3D was just dope. I was just like, damn.
I mean, you don't need a good story to enjoy a roller coaster, right?
Well, and I like those
No, but
characters. I like.
I was
going
going
to
to say, and Paulie's
Okay.
usually really enthusiastic about film in general, so I can understand him and certain members of the audience being
Yeah.
really into it. But I mean, I guess my bigger thing with this is I'm curious as how this is going to play out, because even Disney, we're hearing rumors that they're kind of worried that the box office might be soft on this. And I think it's just they haven't come up. James Cameron hasn't innovated anything since Avatar. Now you're on the third film. What have you done since then? Because I'm assuming you probably saw it in that high frame rate, because I'm sure the studio wanted to show it off in that. That's all they really have. There's no new gimmick for this anymore. It's same fodder as before, really, at the end of the day. I'm curious, like, I get it, you're a fan, Paulie, but do you think that the audience is really going to show up if there's nothing there to really push them to be in the audience? That's kind of where I'm saying is, like, they've seen this already.
I think they're gonna go in droves, man, just because of the calendar and Zootopia will be kind of played out. What else is there? And it is
Well, in that respect, you might be right, just because there's zero competition.
right.
But I'm
And
still.
then-
That doesn't mean it still can't underperform, I guess, is my point.
Right, and then there's new creatures. There's returning creatures from Way of Water, and there's new, kind of like. I'm trying to say, I guess you guys have seen images of these pirate ships. Like they're kind of like balloons.
Mhm.
The
floating.
better question is, do I care?
Well, you never did, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's the thing. Tommy,
never
you were
did.
never the target audience.
I
for this,
watched the
ever.
first one. I'm like, okay, I get the gimmick, but after that, I'm like, it was one of the most forgettable. It was like fast food film.
Yeah,
Right,
but my point is, you still didn't care. I watched.
Yeah,
it
that makes
50
you-
times with my
But the
kid.
bigger question, the original question that Chris asked is, will it have any cultural impact? My point is in the US initially, it was like, no.
Mhm.
Avatar never had any fucking impact outside of the year it came out.
But I
Yeah.
think the point is what Paulie said was that it has created its own universe. And
Maybe.
I think it's like a rock band where when you go see your favorite rock band, you don't want to hear all new stuff. You do want to see you do want to hear some of the old songs. And I'm getting that vibe from this, and that,
Well,
probably too
so-
long. But don't
Yeah.
you feel that the audience is going to want to refresh themselves with some of the older stuff and not be disappointed
Well,
by that?
Sure.
Here's the thing I also wanted to say is that, with Wave Water now with this is that it's a continuation of this family dynamic,
Yeah.
which is really like some really great lessons of life and death, in that you don't see coming from Hollywood at all. Being a father, being a leader, being a warrior, and then the dynamic within the family and the dysfunctionality, some good stuff. I think it's very relatable but if you don't like the Sully family, this is not going to win you over, Tom.
Mhm.
Right? It's not. You're right. So this is not one to win you over, but and then you have Stephen Lang's character, which is just kind of almost over the top amazing.
And I want to say one thing about the
He's still
technology,
alive in these?
and I think this is a response to Tom, and it might not make any change in your opinion is that while there might not be some giant leap, the big leap was with Avatar 1. But I guarantee you, Cameron, being the obsessive person that he is, there was probably a million things he hated in 1 that we never noticed. And then he fixed them in 2, and the million things in 2 that he hated that are now fixed here. And we will not notice those differences individually, but we'll notice those differences in aggregate without we're really understanding what he's done. I mean, we're living in a micro change world. People go, oh, Apple has not innovated anything. Well, you know what? Just the fact that they can push out an update to their iPhones without crashing everybody's iPhone and without everybody bitching about the fact that the phone has been bricked, that is a staggering amount of technical work that never was required back in the day when you had your own stupid little PC that was sitting on your desk and you got a new update on a floppy.
Yeah.
I think you're giving Cameron way too much credit.
Well, no, I'm just maybe, but I'm just putting that out there that.
If we were talking about James Cameron 1995, yes, I'd agree with you. We're talking about James Cameron where he can do anything he wants. He gets all the money in the world. There is nothing in these movies that he doesn't pre-plan to put in there the way he wants.
Yeah,
he's hit this brick wall creative.
When Rodriguez worked with him in a Alita.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever heard that Joe Rogan Rodriguez.
That seemed to have more cultural impact than fucking Avatar did. If you want to ask my honest opinion,
sure. But the point I was making, that's a great interview, guys. It's a Joe Rogan Rodriguez interview. They go over Conan. They do a lot of Conan. I think I sent that clip to you, Andre, a couple months ago. They have this
I think you did.
Yeah. So he talks about Cameron. James Cameron comes up, and they're talking about 3D cameras because Rodriguez went back to school to learn more about 3D cameras, and he talked to Cameron, and Cameron just kind of looked at him and was like, I just invented my own.
Yep.
So I don't know, Tom. I mean, he kind of is, creating stuff.
He created 3D cameras. He created 3D cameras to make a movie that was 80% CGI.
Yeah. Still,
I mean, man, he's
done so much stuff in technology. You think about it. He did Titanic, 1997. Didn't make another movie for what, 12 or 13 years. It was.
Well, I get what you guys are saying, but basically, James Cameron's a guy who he didn't make the car. He just made the car a little faster. Right. You go back, Robert Zemeckis pushed us way beyond what Cameron's ever done technologically.
I don't know. Terminator 2, some of the effects there.
A lot of that shit was already in the pipeline. Cameron just happened to be in the right place at the right time. The CGI shit was going to happen one way or another. Jurassic Park was going to happen one way or another. It happened to be the right place.
But going back to the defense of the film in regards to the technical spectacle that it is, that's kind of hard to argue, Tom. This is.
I'm not talking about that part of it, though.
Oh no, I know. But I'm just kind of going back to that. In my reaction is that, listen, this shit might be redundant. It might be a little too long, but fuck, I'm gonna go see it again because this is a 3D masterpiece.
And that's all that's needed for it to be a hit. If more people feel like you, it's a hit. And good on Camry and best thing that comes to Disney.
And I know a lot of people, Andre, in the chat are asking specific questions. Obviously I can't really
answer those for now. So you just have to wait. We got the
love to, guys.
So I'm happy with that.
When is the embargo?
Well, the social media reaction we're talking right now has been lifted since that Monday night, and I see a lot.
The review embargo is the 15th, isn't it? The day before
the
it comes out.
The review embargo is the 16th. You'll get our full reviews. Yeah.
So what they're doing here is the same thing they always do. They allow you to do the social media reaction, where they can get their little buzz things for the trailers and the posters and all that kind of business.
Yeah.
So then they can say, it's a visually stunning masterpiece, says Latino Slant, like on their trailers. That's what they're doing now. So then the day before the movie actually comes out, then you can post your actual review.
Yeah.
So they won't be pull quoting Scooby-Doo dialogue, just like you always come to expect from Jim Cameron. Nothing like that.
Yeah. And Tom is absolutely correct because they've been pull quoting from all the reviewers that
Oh yeah.
said something like that, and me and Rosa, we didn't.
You
know,
won't get
because
pulled.
no, I mean, but the our honest coming out of it is that she was even more mixed than I was, and so she she put up her quotes on film Twitter, but
What did Rosa say?
she felt it more redundant, and she appreciated the dynamics of what it was trying to tell as far as the family, but it was just too long, and it was felt more of a Way of Water part 2. And can't really say, she didn't really say more than that. And and again, it's these same people, because there's a lot of people that were there. Chris Gore was there.
Yeah.
Chris was there. We were in the same row, and a couple other film critics. They immediately do their reviews or do their Twitter things like Tom was saying, and it's like you almost want to get into a fight, because I almost want to say, did we see the same movie? Because they're saying it's perfect. It's like, it's not.
Well,
it's
and here's the thing is, Paulie, I know you guys aren't as concerned about it, obviously, but here's another thing that kind of goes along with some of the stuff we've said before with the media and why they play along with these games. They want their blurb to be put up there on the trailer so they can say, so-and-so from Variety says this thing is amazing and you love to see it, blah, blah, blah. They want that, right? They want that exposure. So they're going to be more positive. They're going to find things that'll be buzzworthy. And this is another reason why, this is where I'm sure that doesn't the studio even give you out like suggestions and stuff, I would imagine, or do they say like specific things? Because this reminds me of the whole Marvel thing where, every critic would say nearly the same fucking thing. Right.
Each studio is different, right? They didn't do that with this. I'm trying to remember where they actually were like, your social media reaction is going to be more. Oh, it was Superman.
What was it? That one? No, was it not Black Panther? The
Eternals.
The Eternal one, yeah, where they all said it was a triumph. It's a triumph.
Well, yeah. I mean, the worst thing that you could see with this film is endless critics quoted as a visual feast and nothing else. Then those are kind of an alarm.
That I agree with. The other stuff that they were saying, I'm like, come on, man, come on.
I have a question for you, Paulie. If for whatever reason, Cameron says, okay, this is it. It didn't make the money that it needed to make. I'm done. Does this movie complete the Avatar experience in a satisfying way?
Not if you're a hardcore Avatar fan.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay.
But if you ask Sam Worthington, he thinks it's done, which I thought.
I was going to say it's funny you asked that, Paul, because Cameron recently did kind of hint that this might be the end of this.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, and I'm curious more so because they realize that these movies aren't going to be able to sustain anymore this type of the amount of money they cost to make and compared to what they're making, right? Because the second film didn't quite make as much, and then we'll see how this third one comes out, and that's kind of the hint I was getting from Cameron's point. So we'll be curious to see.
Yeah, and one more thing, Tom, about what you're saying in regards to just how these studios operate with critics. It's all about control. They're trying to control as much as they can as far as their product, because they know what product they've had for months. And whether they're suggesting, just positive social media posts for now, we're going to push that. There's dozens of those film critics that fall in line with that stuff. To maybe just giving you 2 minutes or 3 minutes of to interview, one of the stars. It's like, you guys know, it's like I had 10 minutes with one of the stars of Kiss of the Spider Woman last week. 10 minutes is nothing. They're constantly in my ear, the press people, as I'm talking to this actor. All right, last question, wrap it up. It's like, and then here's the other thing too, which I was a little upset about, but I said yes to the interview. is that they own the video, meaning like they did the recording. Oh, we'll send it to you later, and they did, but they easily could have like clipped something out if they didn't like it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
controlled. Yeah.
control, and that's Lionsgate. That's like a small ass. So I just wanted to add that in there, guys.
For me, Avatar, I couldn't even get into the first one, so I wasn't going to go to the second one. I'm sure not going to go to the third one. I know it probably looks good. I would honestly be pleased to hear that Cameron is going to direct something that's not some sort of technological achievement next, maybe some sort of, I don't know. I don't know what he would be good at. You know, for me, the last great movie he made was Titanic, and before that, True Lies, and before that, it was Aliens, and before that, it was Terminator 2. I mean, I know these are technological achievements. I know there's an audience for them, but Paul asked my question too. Not necessarily from an Uber fan, Paulie, but if you said, "Hey, we're gonna have a marathon of every night we're gonna watch an Avatar movie," would this one end and you'd be like, "Oh, that was great. I would like to see more adventures, but they didn't leave any loose threads that I'm waiting on them to answer." Do you understand what I mean? Like, in other words, sure, I'd like to have seen more John Connor's adventures, but I would have been fine if Terminator 2 had ended and that was it, right? Because you answered with, it's not going to be satisfying enough for Avatar fans. And I'm just curious, maybe if you could qualify that a little bit. Does it tie up loose threads for what you've seen so far? And if they ended it, you would understand and be okay with it? Or are there really some loose threads that weren't settled?
Yeah, I like the ending. I like the final act, actually.
Okay.
And so I could totally see it as being satisfying. There are some things in this that maybe once you or other channels get to see it, you might have problems with as far as certain maybe agendas, which I haven't talked about at all.
That's
Like
surprising.
social justice type
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm but it still falls under in the stories of these characters.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like, I could see other people having problems with it. Let me just say that.
Okay.
I could see other people making a big deal out of some of the things they're alluding to in this film, which I did not know, Tom. Yeah.
Well, on that note, like, here's James Cameron's response to sequels.
Any one of the Avatar movies to date could have been the last Avatar movie. It just didn't work out that way.
How far are you on 4 and 5? Are the scripts completed?
I'm not even thinking about 4. Are you kidding me? I'm just thinking about
I
what's
just got
going
him
to...
back.
Yeah, so this is a complete 180 from what he was saying.
He's a lie.
That is.
He's lying.
But how badly
He's
do
lying.
you want to tell the next story?
Ask me in a year.
Yeah, see, it's
Yeah.
more like, is Disney going to give me the money?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty much it.
Way of Water, I mean, for sure. I mean, they all had cliffhanger endings. Is when Sully opens his eyes again. Sully awakens and he's the Avatar. He's now a Na'vi at the end of the first one.
If not, that's still a satisfying enough ending for me. Like, that was enough for me.
Sure,
right?
not
Like-
enough for you, but
like,
it also
like, okay, now he's one of them. The fight's kind of get impossibly
fight's over.
continue, or the fight's been won already.
right.
Yeah.
The humans left. Yeah, I get it.
Well,
Right.
Cameron has a knack for having some profound thing in his movie, right? So he can end on something like that that's a profound ending, and then you can leave it to your imagination on what the continuing adventures would be, right?
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple of things where I know some circles will not, where they will really like hone in. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how people react.
As long as it's not transgenderism, I think we'll be okay.
On the note of Avatar, Jason Webster, says Avatar made 2.9 billion. Avatar Way of the Water only did 2.34 billion. So I believe the third film will do about 1.7 billion. I think you're about right. And that's where we're starting to get to the point where they're not going to be able to make enough to sustain the amount of money it takes to make these movies.
God, I'd be surprised if it makes that much, Tom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because, like, you got to remember how much these
Honestly.
movies cost. And that's why I think Cameron's tune has changed a little bit And not only that, he's probably getting tired of it. He's been doing it nonstop now for
Yeah.
whatever amount of years. He just got the rights back to Terminator again not too long ago. He's been making these little hints and illusions that he's going to get back in, because you know what he's going to do, right? In about 2
What's that?
years from now, we're going to find out, or a year from now, we're going to find out he's working on a Terminator movie, and it's going to be the official Terminator 3 that'll undo everything we've seen in the last 5 movies.
Oh boy.
You know what?
To be fair, though, all the other movies did the same thing. They all undid
Yes,
the previous
They did,
movies.
but this one will be the official one because James Cameron will have something to do with it. Now, I don't necessarily say he's going to direct it, but it will be his Terminator 3.
Well, that all-female one was his. He produced.
Dark Fate.
Exactly. We had the same argument there because
Yeah.
that was the first one that was actually made after he got the license back.
He
Was
had
the
very
first
little
thing he
influence
did.
on it, though.
He licensed it straight back to Skydance.
But wasn't he
crowing about it.
wasn't he promoting it though?
Yep.
He
He was,
promoted
yeah.
all of them, but he
no,
said
yeah,
flat
but
out.
Dark Fate. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
said
but
that he
he-
would no matter what.
Yeah,
So,
he had said that.
I
We've
do
done a
think there's
video.
something to what
He-
Tom's saying though in regards
Yeah.
to his age, because you
He's
know,
71.
I mean, yeah, it's still young in regards.
Yeah,
to
but
other-
Terminator is the only thing besides Avatar that he has that is his.
Gotcha.
Right? Yes, he reinvigorated Aliens, but that wasn't his.
No.
Right? And
Yeah.
tell me any other James Cameron thing that isn't Avatar
True Lies.
or Terminator that can be
Type-
sequelized that has been. Exactly. Nothing.
Like, oh, Titanic Part 2. I heard is
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah, we're waiting for Titanic Part 2 here. True Lies is the only plausibility that there might still be something there, but even Arnold's getting to that point where are you really going to put him and Jamie Lee Curtis in
No,
a situation
no.
now
I don't
again
want
like
that.
that?
Arnold in
Terrible.
anything
The
else.
old
that
folks
is-
home.
you know, King Conan. Give me a King Conan.
But that has nothing to do
bookend.
with him. That's my point. So, like,
Yeah.
he's going to go out on a legacy thing to where Avatar, as long as that goes out on a high note, right? He'll be like, okay, I did my thing there. Now I'm going to have to go back and put my stamp back on Terminator that's been nothing but destroyed for the last 20
What's
years.
Or
that,
something
what's the
new.
vampire
Or
one? Didn't he
something
do a
new.
vampire
You know
one?
what?
He could.
If I'm Cameron,
Yeah.
I am tired of editing movies where people's faces are covered in dots.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves it, dude. I
I'm
did.
just
Oh, that's
saying,
another
I would
thing
be
is that
sick of that.
20
he
years, nothing but Avatar.
before the film
Yep.
there's a thing from him.
Almost 30 years.
I think it was like maybe even a
Yeah,
couple
you're right.
minutes,
Wow.
guys.
But what did he say in this
1958,
thing? A
Paul.
couple of minutes.
So like before the movie, he comes up and he denounces AI, and he's saying my film is not AI, you know, and and he was really like, and then he was showing all the people behind the scenes, a lot of cut to images over his voice of people working on the sets and all the all that stuff, which was really cool. And he was just talking about, there's people behind this and from the actors to what we're doing, and he was just very passionate about like we are not replacing people. There is actual performances and actors behind each one of these. So yeah, there was that whole thing.
That's kind of interesting, but if you think about it, it's all in the computer, so it's not like you have an extra behind every character in the background, right?
Well, I'm also thinking like besides the Hollywood industry, and no one really cares about this, as far as the general audience.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point. Yeah.
Kind of an odd state. He should have just,
Somebody said he came out the other day. It might have been on the red carpet for something else.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember, but he was kind of mad that Netflix is able to release a movie for a week and be an Oscar contender, right? Or
Mhm.
whatever the minimum thing that they can do. And
Everyone
And
is.
somebody-
They're all doing that. Skarsgård, Del Toro.
yeah, but we did a story on that over at Bleeding Fool, and the commentaries were, who cares about these awards, right? And I think you just kind of made that point where it's like the audience doesn't care. We
Not
don't
anymore.
care if that was a real extra or a fake extra or whatever. Entertain us. If we're entertained, I don't care if those were Siamese twins playing every role. If
Ooh,
I
I like
Goodness.
that.
if I
Well,
enjoyed
I just
what
thought
you
it was
did,
a weird. I just thought it was it was weird for him to come on,
Mhm.
and it's almost like that speech he gave worked over really well with this crowd that
Well,
I was in because of all
It's
the
actually
film
kind of the
critics.
different than what he's been saying in the near recent past here, Paulie, because I was always
Yeah.
like, wait, he said what? Because I remember making the joke along with everybody else. The guy that was warning us about AI was basically saying we need to embrace it. Remember, this was like a year ago.
Yeah, he
You
was.
know what I think happened and why I think he just blurted it out the way he did at the thing, and I'm just speculating, obviously, but I think it's because in the last year, he's probably been getting bombarded with all his friends in the special effects industry going, what the fuck are you doing? We're going to be obsolete if you keep doing this shit.
But
So he's probably been getting
Tom,
just bombarded with that shit.
Tom, knowing Cameron, does anyone on this panel not think that he hasn't cracked open some AI animation program and had a go with it? Does
Oh,
anyone
absolutely thinks
here
he has.
believe he hasn't played with it?
I think he
Seriously.
has, and that's why he was saying the shit he was last year, because I think he had this whole like epiphany, like, oh, I could use this to do all sorts of shit.
Well, that's
And then
my
all his
point.
friends are like, "Are you serious? You're going to put us out of business?" And that's what I'm saying. He's really close to all the tech people, right? So that's where I think he's had to have gotten some influence from them to hear, like, you can't be going out there and saying AI is a good thing or we need to embrace
No,
it.
that
and
would
anything
be
like that.
bad if he makes a public statement on it. That would be horrible.
He did.
But no, a big one like at the movie that Paulie was at is my point. That would have been bad for the
I'll
industry,
find it.
but he's playing with it. We know he is.
At this point, I think he almost had to come out and say it. I mean, he's married to an actor, and
Yeah.
But I'm with
It's a
I'm with you
flip
guys.
flop. I
He's such
remember
a,
him saying different too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, but I mean,
And when
Yeah,
I-
it was at, I think
didn't-
the last, he's somewhere between the last Avatar and now is when he said it.
yeah,
Because
makes
I remember posting that, saying the guy that warned us about AI and Terminator is now telling us to embrace it.
right.
I-
It's
He
kind of
also
weird.
used AI in the restorations of his movies.
That's the other thing.
for,
That's when it was.
Ah.
That's when it was.
Yeah.
When Terminator and True Lies and Aliens all came out, because he used fucking AI to upconvert those sons of bitches instead of actually rescanning them. Because the only one of those movies that came out that was actually scanned in 4K was Terminator.
Well, a
Yeah.
few people in the chat have pointed out that when he did his 4K upscale of Aliens,
That's what it
he
was.
missed some teeth. I
He did
posted
all
the
kinds of
article right
shit
there
with
that
that.
you're talking about, Tom. It came out this past
Yeah.
April.
Oh, thanks, man.
Embracing it, yeah.
Yes, because everybody was giving him so much shit over Aliens. Because guess what, guys? That scan that he used for Aliens is the same exact scan that's been on that's the Blu-ray scan for the last 20 fucking years.
So we're talking about a different AI use case.
That's
though.
right.
As,
No,
as
you're right.
opposed to- as opposed to making characters, having
True.
them speak.
But
That's-
I still, it almost to me is worse. But yeah,
Think
anyway.
about it. If you're doing a NASCAR racing movie or something and you need to put fake people in the stands and you use AI to do that, is that wrong?
I don't
been
care
doing
about
it
that.
other ways
Yeah.
for years without AI.
But I get what you're saying, and here, yeah, because this is another thing. Like I just
Not
watched
that
the
it's-
Beatles,
Yeah,
the Beatles anthology
Yeah.
redo on Disney Plus.
the AI.
It looks pretty good.
Mhm.
There is some it's getting there. Like they're getting to the point where they can make video now look really good with AI, but they're still having some of the issues, like especially letters. Like I started to notice in the background, sometimes the letters would start to fuck up on shit again. That's a clear sign that they're using AI to
Yeah, they're-
upconvert it.
There's a new version of AI that actually works good with text. That's a fairly new
Right.
invention.
And that was one thing. And then I noticed in some bits where like John was playing guitar and his fucking guitar strings were literally like weaving off the guitar itself. And I'm like,
Those were
okay,
the
that's not
Demario-
right.
Those were the Demario .05 strings.
And that's the one that just came out 2 weeks ago, Tom?
Yes. Or
Yeah,
actually this last
I
weekend
saw
here,
it. I saw it pop up. Where was that? Was that
Apple.
on
Disney Plus.
Disney. Yeah, Disney.
Okay, Disney Plus.
It's called
And otherwise,
Beatles
it looked good
Anthology.
because all the stuff that was from film, they just transferred from film, and it looks good. But there's a bunch of stuff that was from video, especially like the interview stuff with John Lennon and stuff back in the day when he was on Dick Cavett, all that kind of stuff. That stuff looked really fucking good. I was actually standing going, wow, they can do that now to make video look that good? Because that's what I would say, that's what it should be used for.
Yeah.
You should not be touching film with AI.
Yeah.
Because if you have the original negative, you
Yeah.
already have more than enough
8K.
resolution. Don't
Yeah.
fuck with it.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to make it look worse. But if you have something like video that's only mastered on video, you have no other way of getting it looking any better. We've reached that point now where we're getting pretty goddamn close to where it can upconvert it to a point where it's damn near film quality.
Well, and you can fine tune it too. We did that with some 360p animated stuff and got
And that's where I
over
don't mind it being used so much, as long as people, like you just said, pay attention to it. Because otherwise you run into the weird shit that Lucy did, where you get the weird faces and shit on people because people aren't paying attention to what's going on in the
Well,
background.
you just plug it in and you walk away and you go, okay, it's done. Just put it out.
Just set it. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the knobs at a certain level
I
and go.
was thinking of using Topaz on our old Frantics TV show.
I mean, that's where my
real life is a little harder than animation, just for the record. So,
yeah, animation actually is a place where they've been able to, like, because I don't know for sure, but they claim that Play On He-Man set that came out was just an up convert of the 570p versions of the British versions, Andre?
Yeah.
Yeah,
576.
576. Yeah, the European, the PAL
At
version.
first, I didn't believe it, but I'm starting to tend to believe it. I wonder if they didn't have their hands on some of this better AI stuff before Hollywood was even using it, because if you see those scans or those releases, they look really good, but as you keep watching them, you start to see a few of the anomalies pop up here and there.
Paulie,
But it all matters where the source is, what they're getting to use. But anyway,
right.
go ahead.
Paul, if you do decide to do it, you might go up one step and then and let it go on its slowest setting, okay, and then review it thoroughly, because and then let other people review it, because you might miss something.
The
'cause it
one
can get
thing-
a little funky.
The one thing AI needs to they need to kind of concentrate when it comes to video is the interlacing, because that's still a problem, because that's the thing that sticks out the most is like, because every other frame has that interlacing problem.
Yep.
So
And
everything
it
looks
doesn't
jagged.
know
Yeah.
if it needs to treat that as an anomaly or treat that as it's supposed to be there. It doesn't.
Exactly. And
Somebody-
that's the one thing I wish they could figure out. But other than that, leave film alone.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it.
Video, it's so funny too, because somebody was I think it was Grums that was saying, is this true? And he showed like an image of a 720p frame and an image of a 360p, and the 360 looked better, but but on a new television like today, a new TV, if you play 720, it does look soft. But back in the 80s, if it was 360p and you had a decent television, it looked fine. But that's because the CRT technology you were playing
Right.
it on, it was because of the tech at the time.
Well, the
Exactly.
interlacing, it was 320, and they just doubled the lines.
Yep.
Right.
So 320 is the natural resolution.
360.
of-
360.
with 360 is 640. Yeah, it goes
Yes, you're there.
640, and so that's why when you do the interlacing, which I am a big expert on, is that you either take the left or the right, and you pick the one that you want to be the dominant, and that's what you upscale on.
I think you've got it figured out, brother.
But yeah, we got one more story here. But do you want to do some super chats first, Andre?
What was that?
Do you want to do some super chats first, or did you want to jump on our final story first? Because I know we actually have a few on the green machine, for the love of God.
Yeah,
Just
let's do those.
Yeah, so let's read these ones from Kalekioki. He says and he's got three of them here. So thank you, Kaleki. He says, it's not like China doesn't have its fair share of investments in the U.S., and Saudi is of late are making serious moves. If you can't beat superpower in strength, buy out its infrastructure. That's true, I guess, in one way of looking at it. So, Andre, you think the Paramount Warner Brothers is pretty much a done deal at this point?
Well, it's not a done deal, but I think it's going to happen.
It's annoying because Warner Brothers and Paramount are the last pure film companies today. Disney is theme park, and Universal is telecommunications. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons I agree with this, because that's one of the reasons why I want Warner Brothers to stay Warner Brothers.
Yeah, we all want that, but it's unlikely to happen. So then it's a matter of, where do you think they will be best served, with Universal or with Skydance? People say with Paramount, but it's not Paramount, it's Skydance, it's the Ellisons. They're the ones who are making the moves here, not Paramount. Paramount didn't change overnight. They haven't had time to transform it. It's Skydance.
I'm honestly surprised that, I mean, outside of Trump saying what he's saying, that the government's not going to hold up. This is not going to happen. Like, the only thing they got going for them is they can argue the whole Fox Disney deal, but the difference here is Fox is not the same kind of company that Warner Brothers is. And that's what I've been trying to say for the longest time. People just got to remember that. because Warner Brothers is a much bigger entity by far than Fox is. And that's why I know that it's not going to go for cheaper than $70 billion. And it's going to be a lot more than that probably. But anyway, he has one more that says, like Ellison has no success to his name, could argue he put Paramount in the position it was in so he could buy it cheaper. That's what I've been saying for a while. Just goes to show if you have ungodly amounts of capital, the world is your oyster. Oh yeah, I agree. Like I said it myself. I was like, you couldn't have planned it better than that. Like if his plan was to just basically make Paramount worthless so he could buy it for next to nothing, then he succeeded. Because Skydance is responsible for 90% of their output in the last 20 years. But anyhow, we got Kenneth LaRock, who's been a member for 50 months. And then we got Action Com here. How you doing, Action Com? It says, Norwegian Sisu, when? Why surrender to the Finns?
Well, we have enough remakes as it is, so give it time. I'm sure there'll be a Norwegian Sisu one of these days.
Soul Nightmare says the new actors on actors list is pretty good. Oh,
that
for
would be
Variety.
Yeah, Variety are the ones that I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah, I haven't
we'll
either.
have to check that out.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. And then Carl is here, and he's been a member for 35 months. It says, Tom, what about reading half of Tora, Tora, Tora? Only problem is that the subtitles were in white and the Japanese uniforms were also white. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you gotta manage your subtitles better than that. And then you got Miller, who says Jaguar has offloaded its woke rebrand executives. I saw that you sent. A deal
Yeah,
that-
Chato spoke about this before the show as well, didn't you? Chato is sleeping.
No, I'm right here. I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, no, like
I
some
agree.
acknowledgement of the Jaguar, which is.
Yeah, I'm not going to
changing
toot my
course.
horn just because I saw something on X. Yes, it looks like
But
they're
yeah.
cleaning house. The challenge, although I don't know if you can hear me because of the vacuum cleaning.
Oh, we hear you.
The challenge is that people have been talking about Jaguar losing sales. Most of that has come down to the fact that they've now reduced their inventory to only one new car. Apart from I think the effect of pushing this strange electric car in the manner that they chose to do it, they've also stopped making cars. So I don't know.
Because this is true. Like they're only selling out old stock until they get the new woke mobiles. You know, the ones that come in two varieties.
Yep.
Corresponding to the colors of the trans flag.
Yeah, they
Woken
look
Woker.
like Batmobiles.
Yeah.
And electric, I think, right now is a bad bet.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't
And then
get
we
me
got
started on the automotive industry.
Right. Jason Webster says James Cameron's Dances with Blue Aliens 3. Yep, pretty much. And then Action Com says, Paulie, brush up on Roger Ebert. He was the master of reviewing movie without giving away specific details. Tom, back me up. Yeah, sometimes it didn't even seem like he knew the movie he was talking about.
That's for sure.
See his Halloween 3 review for my point.
Wow.
He pretty much, and he pretty much reviews it like Mike Myers is still part of the movie. Like he doesn't even act like he don't know what the fuck's
didn't
going
even
on
see
half the
it.
time.
Yeah.
No, but no, he's not wrong. Roger Ebert was probably, I mean, if somebody asked me who the greatest film reviewer of all time was, I would say Roger Ebert.
I'd say Gene.
Well, Gene didn't win the Pulitzer though.
I know. Pulitzers are for clowns.
And Roger always threw that in his face. Tickle Trunk's in the house. He says Avatar's too long.
Wait,
I
what
don't even
happened?
want 3 hours of sex.
Oh no.
Oh.
I feel bad for you.
Oh,
That sounds like a great afternoon to me. Pack of Proton says Demolition Man sequel incoming. Will we finally learn the purpose of the 3 seashells? I was going to ask, is this official? Because I know Stallone and a few people have been talking about it for a while. And I saw something this morning, but is it, let me look it up here.
Is that wishful thinking from Packing Protons or?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is this one of those things where somebody just happened to ask Stallone and he's like, oh yeah, I'd love to do it, Demolition Man.
Yeah.
You know, like,
There hasn't been an official announcement that I've seen at the very least.
Huh.
I honestly hope it's not happening because that was a perfect standalone movie that does not really pave the way for sequels.
Yeah. I
I mean,
agree.
you could, but why?
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
why?
I mean, The upside, I guess, is that you'd get to see what Stallone is, how he's acclimated to the future in the last 30 years. But other than
Yeah,
that,
or what's happened to, because now we're fast forwarding another 30
Yeah.
years into the future. Well, basically,
that's the problem.
yeah, that's the problem. That it'll be in the same distance in time that he was asleep since the last movie. That he's going to be there. He's
Well, we're
mated
almost to the
the
first
world by
movie,
then.
aren't we? Because wasn't the first movie in like 2030 something?
Something like that.
Think
I
so, yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I hope so. To Packing Proton's question, I hope we do if they do it.
Yeah. I'd be surprised though if they were to do that.
Me too.
And Packing Protons also continues. Drunk 3PO in line already for Avatar, tripping cosplayers. Yeah, that's his pants.
Very on.
Shadow Dancer, the Red Mage, says for $5. Cameron's Dark Angel left on a cliffhanger. The novels even left the story open. Yeah, some people love doing that.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. 2032 is when the original Demolition
Okay.
Man takes place.
And
I didn't
Jason
know
Webb's-
Cameron wrote novels for that TV show. Wow.
I don't know if he wrote the novels. Maybe he just,
No.
because I don't think he even came up with it, did he?
He created the show. I
I
mean,
mean,
don't
well,
think
he
he
could have
wrote
been
the
the series
novel.
creator. That doesn't mean he necessarily created the property.
yeah,
though.
that's true. Huh.
That was my question, because wasn't it a comic book? Or
I
just
know
a
it's a
book
video
series?
game. I don't know.
I'll look
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't
Was
know
it
how much
Dark
he actually
Angel it's
had.
called?
Yeah, Dark
Yeah,
Angel.
Dark Angel.
Yeah.
Back in
Oops, did
We
we read
didn't-
this?
no, we didn't.
Jason Webster says,
Yeah.
I'm writing 2 books simultaneously on the late 20th pop culture and Asian cinema.
Huh.
Cool.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Like with one hand and then the other?
Oh,
Like-
wow. Ambidextrous writing. Two books at once.
Barry the Music Man is here, and he says, rather see Snyder finish his story over Guns Crap. Well, that's one person's opinion, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, there's others that probably share it.
Yeah.
Miller says Gunn should make an animated film of the recent 89 books. I don't think that'd be a bad idea.
What
I
is the
mean-
recent 89?
Okay, so what he's talking about is they brought back Superman and Batman in the comic book form
Oh,
with
yeah.
Christopher Reeve and Michael
I
Keaton.
have those. Okay.
And so they did a couple of books that are now like official sequels to the Burton films and
Yeah.
another sequel to the Superman film and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
And with that, we're caught up, and let's get on this story that was brought to us by our good friend Chris here
Oh,
about how
yeah.
streaming's new monopoly killed Hollywood cinema. So yeah,
Well, basically,
and
this.
I have read this already. So
I was going to ask you if you had a chance to take a look. It's
I didn't. I didn't want to disrupt it. You had it. I
Right
just,
on.
yeah.
It's just sort of Hollywood is now become. They've created a new monopoly with streamers, and this idea did not originate with me. I'm like some others who saw this. Joseph Kahn is a kind of an indie filmmaker. He's done a handful of movies, and he posted some of this information out there. I think I've embedded that in the article if you scroll down. But effectively, streaming has created the new monopoly. Whereas now, instead of the studios owning their own theaters, the studios are their own streamers, and they're much more motivated with keeping you as a subscriber and watching their shows or movies or slop, as some people put it, much more than making a profit at the cinemas. It's sort of a new paradigm where they also don't have to buy indie stuff. They can just keep creating content. They're just trying to keep the churn rates down. And I didn't know if maybe you had any thoughts on this, Tom, after you read it, as far as what's happening now with the streamers becoming sort of the new monopoly. It's interesting that it's at the same time that Paramount is making a play for Warner Brothers Discovery.
Well, and the funny thing about that is if that happens,
Hmm.
what do you think is going to happen to HBO Max and Paramount Plus?
Exactly.
See, that's the thing, is they're already starting to eat themselves alive, and that's kind of where this whole streaming thing was. And the Underwear Gnome thing from South Park is the perfect representation of the whole streaming debacle, right? And Andre and I have been reporting on this since the day one. We talked to like Bill Hunt of the Digital Bits about this. We predicted so much of this shit ahead of time. If so many people in Hollywood had just listened to our conversation, that they would have seen it as clean as day and said, oh God, we're so stupid. We're going to fucking shoot ourselves in the foot and in the head at the same time. Because this is what we've been saying for years. You're destroying 3 to 5 avenues of revenue to basically bolster one up. Right. And we saw this at first with CBS and their bullshit they were doing with Star Trek. Right. That's just one property and one streamer. And we extrapolated from that basically what Hollywood was going to end up doing. And they did just that. They went and took everything and made it worthless. It made everything look the same. And I don't mean that just in the cinematography wise, but I mean, there's no incentive for you to go to the theater anymore because the same type of shit that you see in the theater now, you can see right on your streamer.
Yep.
And also,
there's no separation.
And also, they use popular culture and popular brands as pawns in their check game, in their game of chess.
Or even celebrities that you recognize, right? I mean, because if you're scrolling through the streamer platform, looking at your options, and you suddenly see, I don't know, Sydney Sweeney, it doesn't matter if that movie's good. You may stop and you may take a look at it. Not much has changed though, because what really has happened is you've got, a handful of tech giants that kind of have this own pipeline. It's their own distribution pipeline with the streamers, right? And the incentive is shifted. It's no longer about trying to make a profitable movie. It's just about retention and dominance in that orbit or ecosystem of streaming platforms. They don't have to make the movie profitable. They just need to keep the stock prices up and the retention high.
Pretty much. And that's where that's just a symptom of the problem or part of the problem or whatever, however you want to call it, because there's still, it's this, I hate using the term because of YouTube, but it's almost like, self-deleting yourself at this point. It's like, how could you not see what you're doing? It is the most.
But we're doing it now, Tom. So right now, YouTube has given us this platform to work for free, to ingratiate ourselves and make the money, although we get a tiny stipend, which is their genius. Facebook should have done it long time ago.
Yeah.
But this is what they're doing with AI now. So we are making, to various degrees, various levels of quality content. Some people, like Veritasium, literally does a TV show quality video every month. We blather here, but it's good enough for many people because we're smart and we're erudite and extremely entertaining. But apart from that, they are now giving us through AI tools that any one of us could up our game and make television shows or for heaven's sakes, movies, which are essentially the same thing as we're doing now. And we're going to be doing it for free for all these different platforms. This is what they want to do. They want to help us up our game to destroy, the status quo.
Well, here's the thing with this is it's like it's like when television came to being, it would be like it's the equivalent as if Hollywood themselves not only invented television, but they fully embraced it and destroyed the film industry in the process of just because so they could bolster television. They're essentially doing that now. Yeah. Right. Before it was being done to them. And in response to that, they innovated. Right. And this kind of takes us back to the whole Avatar conversation. Right. They innovated things. They came up with surround sound. They came up with widescreen. They came up with, they tried gimmicks like 3D and Smellorama and certain other things. Mm-hmm. Most of it didn't stick, but the few things that stuck were the things that actually enhanced the film viewing experience and made it different than television.
The gum on the floor stuck.
The gum on the floor stuck. It did, in a metaphorical and figuratively and literally. Like, my point being though is like they're doing it to themselves though this time.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing they're doing on the other end to try and save theaters. There's no incentive as far as they're concerned right now because they're not seeing them doing it to themselves. It is the biggest self-sabotage in history.
It's just a command economy run by data centers. This is all algorithm. Yeah. That's why all the movies are trying to hit the 4 quadrants now. They're not doing those mid-budget movies anymore.
Although they claim they are. I saw a comment that said the studios are going to move to smaller budget films now.
Well,
and
this is
more
where
in
Script
number.
Doctor, I think, he said something, I think, the other day on X, and he's not wrong, I think, in that the studio does see, I think, a little bit now that they fucked up.
Yeah.
They're not going to admit it. They will never admit it.
Yeah.
But they're making moves to like make smaller movies. You can tell they're trying to find ways to remake the movie Star. The other problem though is you still have a lot of people in the industry that everything is IP driven now. Unlike it was back in the day where, you know, maybe 20% of your output was sequels and remakes, it's the exact opposite now, if not even more so, because like I was just joking about, and I just watched, Accidental Tourist asked me yesterday if I saw the new RLM video yet, and I just watched most of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I got the gist of it. And that's basically what they're talking about in there, is how everything is going to be nothing but sequels, reboots, and remakes, and how the studios are only interested in IP product now. Like, that's all they care about, because that's all they can sell. They don't know anything else. They're not going out and finding the next bestseller. They're not going out and trying to find, the next concept or cool, hip young writer or director or anything like that. They're not doing what used to build their industry. They're just worried about retaining what built their industry to begin with. So it's basically like, it's like having a dilapidated house, but instead of just knocking the son of a bitch down and rebuilding it, they're just patching up holes all throughout the house over and over and over again without actually fixing it.
They're treating the symptoms. They're not treating the problem.
Exactly.
I still think, though, in the end, all these creative businesses have always revolved around the fact that individuals have to make themselves valuable, not other people making them valuable.
Well,
and
that's where YouTube comes in, Paul, and you're right.
Yes, well, that's my point. My point is that I think we're going to get people breaking out more than we've anticipated in the past. And it's not going to be the PewDiePies and the people like that are just talking to the audience. There are going to be people who are going to generate and harness the creativity that's available here, and the studios are going to source them out. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think the problem really right now, or something that's indicative of what we're seeing, is that we've moved from calling it cinema to calling it content, or at least the studios have, right? So it's much more important to the studios, at least the streaming platforms. I'm not talking about movies being released in theaters, because movies being released in theaters are still very leaning on IP and existing stuff, doing reboots, legacy sequels, and things like that. But your streamers like Netflix or Disney Plus are just looking at it like, rather than something being good, it just needs to be new, or it just needs to be plentiful, so that we keep the subscribers here. So there's way less concern with it being high quality cinema anymore. It's just content to keep those subscriber bucks coming in every month. That's
I can't stand the word content in regards to
I'm getting tired of it too.
Product. I prefer product.
Product. No, I'm not. That's wrong too, Paul.
No. I'm kidding.
I know you
are.
You
of all people who still
go ahead and say your point, Paul.
But we still hear the word. It's ubiquitous these days in the industry, right? And that, as long as that is the case, then we've still got problems.
Well, I tell you one other problem, and the problem with YouTube is any successful channel has got to toe the line, and YouTube does not encourage creativity or deviation from whatever it is that got you started.
Yeah.
That is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Well, and they're using AI now, flagging stuff, censoring stuff, kicking channels. There was a guy, I can't remember what his channel was. He had 3 or 4, but he had over 1 million subscribers. And when he tried to, I think it was business tips that he was giving or something like that. And when he tried to appeal, a 6-minute video getting shut down, he got a response in 1 minute. 1 minute later that said, "We have thoroughly reviewed your appeal," and it said they still weren't going to let it go. And he said, "How do you review a 6-minute video in 1 minute and craft a response?" But it's because they're using AI now to do a lot of it. So even being subject to the rules and whims of YouTube is a dangerous gambit, because how do you redress your grievance if YouTube makes a decision you disagree with your content and this channel you built up for years? There's no contract.
No,
no
there's
way
not
to
much you can
do
do other than sue
No.
them, and that's going to take you years
Oh my
and tons
gosh,
of money.
suing YouTube. Imagine.
Would be impossible.
That needs to be a movie, suing YouTube or something. I'd love to hear that.
Well, didn't that one creator go after him? But I don't know how far that's come along yet. But no, like I'm glad you put this story out there, and it's not like it's unknown. We've all been talking about this for years, but it's almost like how much more can you warn people before they just keep shooting themselves in the foot, right? You just can't. You can't. You can only warn a kid so many times not to put their finger in a light socket before sooner or later you just got to be like, look, he's not going to learn until he does it, right? So let him do it, and then zap himself, and then hopefully he learns and never does it again. But I mean, at this point, how far do we let Hollywood? How far does Hollywood go before somebody comes in and says that, though? Like, I mean, I get it. Trump's trying to get involved a little bit, which is, I have different feelings about it, right? Like, I'm glad that he's trying to help the industry out and get the word out about it, but I don't want him to be sitting there influencing shit like they are. Like, look, I don't want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers, but where does he come in to say that and influence it, like in the media, that's saying that they shouldn't even bother? Like, to me, that's leaning into some legal issues, in my opinion. But I don't know that kind of business as much as even Andre and some other people do, even though he's not from the US. That's not where I come in, but or Mikey or somebody like that. But like, I don't know, like this industry is on a weird teeter right now, and they're going to fall one way or the other. And I mean, I've never been somebody to say that the movie industry is going to fall and end, but they're at a place where if they keep going the route they are, they're going to basically self-delete at this point. They're not going to be able to.
Well, certainly the current iteration.
Exactly. It's going to be reinvented, but it's not going to be what we have now.
Yeah, the cinemas are the ones losing right now, I think, and I kind of worry about that.
But they will reinvent themselves. The cinemas have tried to find ways, even if it's through old product, right? Or Taylor Swift concerts or what have you. They'll figure something out.
It's so weird, man, because, your guys are right. But Hollywood just keeps shooting itself in its own fucking foot, man. P.T. Anderson came out saying that 2025 is the greatest year of cinema. And he gives these examples, right? And I love some of these films. These are new ones this year, but no one is fucking watching these movies. So what are you talking about, dude? Like cinematic achievement, and you could put all that money that all those movies made together, and Superman will beat it. F1 will beat it. No one is seeing those movies. That's the problem. And while they might have artistic merit, you're at the end of the day, how can we survive? How can you survive, Hollywood? With releasing movies that no one's seen. It's not that they're bad.
It's not art unless someone sees it.
He gives these examples, and it's like, okay, there's some that I really like, but I know the general audiences, they're never going to see these movies, dude. Never. And that's not because it's bad. It's just because they're art movies. So what are we talking about here? You just keep shooting yourself in the foot. Whether some people will have heard of Marty Supreme at the end of the day because it's Chalamet, right? But these other choices, Begonia and Sentimental Value, has anyone gone and seen those movies in the chat right now? Have you paid money to go see those movies? It's going to be no.
Only coincidence, I actually have gone to see Begonia, but only because I've seen the original South Korean movie. Had I not seen that, no way.
Yeah, but my point, Andre. I mean, like,
yes, it doesn't change your point.
Yeah, we're the audience that PT is talking to.
Point.
Right.
But yeah,
PT
with that,
Anderson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead and wrap it up. I'm sorry.
PT Anderson is probably going to win all the awards right now for One Battle After Another, right?
I was going to say that's because of the Critic Association or whatever gave him the award, and that's usually the first sign. Once then, if it gets the rest of these awards, it's probably going to be the
best
one.
Actor. So it's it's got the momentum. It's checking all the right boxes, and but it is made some money, but comparatively to F1 or Sinners, the movies he's brought up, guys, they might be cinematic achievements, art movie achievements, but the audience doesn't care.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep moving along here. We got Action Comics says, my experience is that people shoot themselves in the foot because they refuse to accept reality. What belief are studios holding on to? I think it's this thing where they thought they figured out the formula. See, because, it was a Willie B. Mayer who said nobody knows nothing in Hollywood, was like basically his old famous saying. And he was right. As I've said before many times, I don't know why Hollywood ever felt like they were these trendsetters when they've always been trend chasers, right? Like something would happen. And it's like nobody knew that Jaws was going to be a big hit. But as soon as Jaws hit, you got 50 Jaws ripoffs, right? Because that's how Hollywood used to work. Something would happen and they go, oh, let's make one of those. Something would be big and they'd be like, okay, we got about a year to get that out so we can get that out there before this thing is no longer a fad, right? Like that's kind of how Hollywood used to work. Or they would just go with whatever the new latest, bestsellers were, and they would try to develop them into movies and television shows, as Paul has pointed out many, many times, right? Like that used to be kind of like the fodder they would go to do that kind of stuff. But now it's just, they just worry about IP because they notice these superhero movies, you just put one of them out there and it just says Marvel over the title and it would make $1 billion, right? We got to this point where they would just do that and everybody would go see it. Well, they got used to that. And that was a sure thing to them. And so they're just shoring themselves up by doing that. And the extension of that is remakes and rebootquels, right? Because you would do something like Halloween 2018, whereas we pointed out at the time, that movie alone made more money in the box office than the entire Halloween franchise put together. All of it. All like 10 movies before that, right? So that's why Hollywood goes, legacy sequels. We need some more of those. And then, of course, Top Gun hits and the rest is history, right? So that's where we're at right now. They know that they can sell Top Gun. They know they can sell Halloween. They know they can sell Star Wars. They know they can sell Star Trek. They know they can sell these things, but these people that are selling them don't understand what made them popular in the first place. It's not all just about whether they're injecting woke and stuff into it. It's just, they just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And they're not fans. They don't get what made people, embrace it to begin with. And that's the problem.
That about sums it up. With that, we are fully caught up. So I would like to say thanks to everyone for being here today. Paulie, thanks so much for your Avatar impressions. Most enlightening.
Absolutely.
A little bit worrying for some things in there, but I'm sure we're going to hear plenty more of that in the next couple of weeks here. Chris, that was a great article you wrote. Great discussion we had on that. What else should people check out over on Bleeding Fool?
On Bleeding Fool, a little article Karina put up yesterday where she kind of argues how the red pill analogy, despite what the Wachowskis say, is apt, and sort of how the right wing has taken the comparison of being red pilled. That's at the top of the fold. So is this article, How Streaming's New Monopoly Killed Hollywood Cinema. And Jameson just put up something about that $705 million that Disney spent on Andor and how much they made off of it. Spoiler alert, about half that is what they made off that. So
wow. Yeah.
That's bleedingfool.com.
Check it out.
Bleeding Fool.
Yeah. Right. And Paulie, what you got coming up?
Oh man, I'll be live twice today. So one on my channel later on, in about an hour and a half. Tom's invited. I want to go over the Tarantino's top movies of the century.
Oh shit, that's right. I got an appointment, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it.
Oh, okay. Well, Tom is not doing. And then I'm gonna be on a channel called After the Weekend, Art to the Icky, tonight. We're going over 3 favorite TV shows, 3 favorite movies of mine. It'll be fun. Yeah.
And Tom had to run, but Mr. Chato, what do you have going on that people should check out?
I've got vacuum cleaning noise in the back. My latest appalling news my latest Green Light or Not, I did Firefly, which has been a wonderful discussion, actually. So, yes, so check out Call Me Chato and my latest Firefly, Green Light or Not.
Awesome. And then rounding us out is Jason Webster, who says for $5 a film or a performer winning a Critics Award, a Golden Globe, or an Academy Award has the same impact as finding a trinket in a box of Cheerios. Maybe today. There was a time when that was different. But the film industry is relatively new, and of course, by now there's inflation in some things, especially as some awards got a little bit more political for their own good. So I think today you probably are right, but historically, maybe a different matter. And with that, thanks everyone once again for being here, and it's time to bring on the koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain. No fucks given, koala